Hi guys, and welcome to Married with Clix. Tonight we are going to be doing our AvX Month 2 recap. Now for our venue, we were doing 300 points constructed. At least one figure had to be from your respective starter kit. And then you were going to pull one Modern Age booster and fill in the rest of the 100 points there. You did have the possibility to drop something from your original 300 if something from your booster was over the 100 that you wanted to make a 400 point team. We were also allowed to, we weren't allowed colossals, team bases, vehicles, or resources, not even the Phoenix Force. However, we were allowed to use our participation prizes for that day. So for the X-Men, it was Danger. For the Avengers, it was Black Panther. And everybody was allowed to use their Colossus Shard. So for me, I had an X-Men team. Obviously, I'm doing X-Men. From my starter, I chose the 75-point Magic. And then I brought in from home 75-point long shot from Wolverine and the X-Men. And since I won a game with it, I figure why not, the 142-point Phantom X with Ava. Now our venue had extra Fear Itself boosters from our Fear Itself run. And I figured why not just pick up one of those. It has a lot of low point, good heavy hitters in that set. And I lucked out and managed to get the non-mighty Iron Fist, who is really, really good. And then on top of that, I didn't use Danger because she was 150 points. I didn't want to drop anyone from my team. And she's a lot better suited for a team that's built around her with robot keyword rather than just throwing her on a team and sealed. I did, however, use the Colossus Shard and put that on my team for a 10. On my first round, I went up against a younger guy that's becoming more of a regular at our venue. Showed up a couple of times now. His name is Josh. And he ran a team that I was worried about. He ran the Thor from the Avengers starter kit. He brought in with him Madam Web and Osiris. And then he pulled from an Invincible Iron Man booster and got the 001 Iron Man. Now, what I was worried about with this team was mainly that Iron Man, because that Iron Man has improved targeting, ignores hindering, and ignores and breaks through blocking. So we started out on the Latveria map. I got Phantom X into this tiny little corner at the beginning. It's a tiny little square of hindering right outside of my starting area. And the whole map is just outdoor blocking. There's just huge buildings of outdoor blocking. There's two elevated sections, one on each starting area, or next to each starting area. And the rest of it is just pretty much all blocking and clear terrain. So I had placed out the Colossus Shard, and I thought that it would be a good idea to have Longshot go for the Colossus Shard because he could really benefit from having some damage reducers. Unfortunately, putting him out there made him a huge target, and pretty much right away Thor had taken him out. So I decided to go a little bit more on the defensive. I used Iron Fist and Magic to bring them out into the elevated area that was near my starting area to kind of hide them from his team. And I had Phantom X using Ava. Got a couple of good shots in on Thor, and Ava died a couple of times, but unfortunately once that Iron Man was out, there was a huge square of blocking, which was about like 3 by 5 squares. So it took up a huge part of the map, and Iron Man hit on the other side of it, and Phantom X was hiding on my side of it. And so the Iron Man was able to see through Phantom X stealth as well as see through that building. So it kept him away from any of my other attackers while taking down Phantom X. So pretty much by the end, that whole area of blocking was just destroyed. We didn't even bother putting hindering terrain markers down on it because it was just going to be this huge chunk of area that was going to get destroyed. I did manage to roll a couple of shape changes, but with that Iron Man's 8 range, he saw a lot of area. covered a lot of area, which unfortunately, whatever Phantom X shape changed, he was able to target Iron Fist, or shape change, target magic. So I was getting shot at, both sides of my team were getting shot at, and Ava was doing as much as she could, taking on pot shots from Osiris, taking off, bringing Thor down a lot. Now, when my close combat attackers went in to get to Thor, he managed to bring Osiris in and block them off. And it didn't take long for my guys to get knocked down. Phantom X got taken out by Iron Man pretty quickly, and Iron Fist got taken down by Osiris and Thor together. So by the end, I pretty much only had magic left, and I had one last chance of trying to get any kind of points in this game. And magic had charge, Blade's Claw's Fangs, was doing 2 damage, which is the sweet spot of where I like to use Blade's Claw's Fangs, because then you have a 2 in 3 chance of doing more damage than you would normally be doing. So she was based with Osiris, and Thor was hiding behind. So what I needed to do was break away from Osiris, charge into Thor, and Blade's Claws his face. Unfortunately, I missed my Blade's Claw, or I missed my breakaway, and the next turn Osiris managed to finish off magic, and that was the end of my game. It was a little upsetting because I found out that right afterwards Thor really was on his last click. So if I had managed to get that, I would have gotten the 200 points for scored for Thor. So my second round, I went up against one of our regulars, sweet guy named Jamie, and he was another X-Men. And his team, he put his team on the board, and I pissed my pants. I was terrified of this team. He had 150 point Magneto, 150 point Chase Cyclops, Phoenix Force Cyclops from Wolverine the X-Men. And in his Invincible Iron Man booster, he managed to pull the Prime Sasquatch, the Heather Hetson Sasquatch, for 99 points. So I was really, really worried about this. So I went completely onto the defensive right away. I put, once again, we're on the Latveria map, and I put Phantom X out into his little square of hindering to hide him, to bring Ava out. And I moved the rest of my team, Longshot, Magic, and Iron Fist, into that little elevated area and kept them away from the edge so that they couldn't get running shotted. So he came out with Magneto and Sasquatch and brought them out. And then I cleared, he cleared. Next round, I had Ava come out and outwit Magneto's Invincible, shoot him for 5. And then Longshot came off the roof, and his Invincible was still outwitted. Longshot came off the roof and hit him for, or I don't think he had, either way. He had a damage reducer that didn't really matter at that point. Longshot, I think it was toughness. Longshot came out and finished him off for the other 3. So basically, almost turn 3, turn 2, Magneto was gone. So now it's Jamie's turn to piss pants. And then a whole bunch of maneuvering. He brought Cyclops out, and then my next round of turns between Longshot and Iron Fist and Ava, Sasquatch was dead. So now I'm still at full, and he's got his Chase Cyclops out. He's really worried at this point. And so I'm able to clear. He takes a shot at me, and I prop it away with Longshot. And then I take a shot back at him. With doubles, he gets knocked back. And and Ava's able to take a shot. He's pretty much down at the end. He takes one last shot at Longshot. Now, with me knocking him back, it actually knocked him out of Longshot's probability range. So he was able to get that shot in. And then my team just finished off Cyclops. So it was a quick game. And I was really terrified about it, really worried. And in the end, I was surprised that I was able to pull it all out. So very happy about the end of that one. For my third round, I went up against another one of our regulars, Kyle, who comes in all the time with Jamie. And he had the other Avengers team that I was really worried about. He brought in his 200-point Thor and Sharon Carter and the 50-point Scarlet Witch from the Chaos Wars Fast Forces. He pulled from Invincible Iron Man and managed to get Centurious and a Magiagoon. Now, Centurious has a white power where he can use Perplex. But if he perplexes up attack, you get +2. So there's Centurious +2 attack. There was Scarlet Witch's Prob and Perplex, and then Sharon Carter was Shield, so he was taking power actions to perplex up damage. So it was like +2 to damage, +2 attack. This Thor was a beast. And then on top of that, he's carrying around Sharon Carter, so every time he's in hindering, he's also in stealth, which is what my team cannot combat. So at the beginning of the game, I did the same kind of thing, go on the defensive, had Phantom X, once again on Latveria. Now, all 3 rounds were on Latveria because the other side of the map was outdoor Wakanda map, but it's basically just islands in the middle of a huge amount of water. So a lot of people were playing on the Latveria side because not a lot of people were prepared to be in that water. It almost made me feel like I should have done my Namor team, but in the end, it turned out all right. So I had Phantom X hiding. I had the rest of my team up on the elevated away from the edge to try and keep them in a good spot. And he started just perplexing up damage and shooting out the buildings and creating his own hindering so that Sharon Carter became more effective. So at the beginning, he had Thor, Scarlet Witch, Centurious, and Sharon Carter all in hindering, and the Magiagoon was left out. So I took that out and went around with Ava and Phantom X. And then he came towards me with Thor and Sharon Carter, started trying to shoot at my guys, and so my Iron Fist and my Long Shot were going after him, and on the other side, Ava was coming out and took down Scarlet Witch. So that was a huge blow against him because now he's lost his prob. And I still have I lost my prob with Long Shot pretty easily too. But a lot of my characters had either close combat reflexes or energy shield deflections, so they're getting the higher defenses. And then he took another round of shots with Thor, and I think by this time he had taken out Long Shot. And then another well-placed shot with Ava, and Centurious was gone. So it ended up boiling down to him having Thor and Sharon Carter untouched, pretty much. Well, Thor was a little bit hurt. And Phantom X was unhurt, hiding in stealth. So he came back to my side of the map, and Phantom X was right against this building, and he shot out the wall there to have Thor and Sharon Carter in the stealth there. So we're both in stealth. Phantom X is purely ranged character. Like, to use Ava, he has to do range, which means I can't get line of fire with these guys being in stealth. So he had to come out of hindering. So I put him in close combat with Sharon Carter, and didn't manage. I got a good one hit in on her before he managed to basically take down Phantom X. Even with my shape changing and my super senses, they're just there's only so many times I can make that 1 in 3 roll to do either one of those powers. So, in the end, I feel that my team actually fared fairly well. I did really well against unfortunately another X-Men team. And the 2 Avengers team were the 2 teams that I was really worried after doing the primer week with Jason, the 2 teams I was really worried going up against. Either a Stealth Buster with the Iron Man, or a team that was completely in stealth with the Sharon Carter. Now, the one thing I always personally take this as I don't feel bad about is my first round with the Iron Man Thor. The player Josh, he actually went on to win the entire tournament. So I never feel bad when I lose to the person that ends up winning the whole thing, because then I'm like, well, at least he had the best of the best teams or whatever. So not sure what I'm going to do going into month 3. I believe it's going to end up being the same kind of format for our venue, which 300 constructed, 100 from a booster, no relics, no resources, all that kind of stuff, unless it's the participation process. So we'll have another primer week coming up next month to get ourselves prepared for that.
I don't want to. I played bad. No, no, you can't. No, I don't want to talk about it. No, fucking suck. No, no, they beat me. They hit me. Oh, she made me do this. Spoiler alert, I went 0-3. This is been a long time since that's happened to me. Oh, okay. Game 1 against a friend of ours, Aiden. Great guy. Love playing against him. He has this nasty habit of catching me and beating me. His team consisted of White Queen, the starter White Queen, the starter Cyclops, Long Shot, and North Star. I'm pretty sure he pulled North Star in his pack and popped it in there. My team, I had brought Iron Fist, Thor, Scarlet Witch, excuse me, and something else with me. Iron Fist, Thor, Scarlet Witch, and another figure. Captain America, the 10th anniversary of Captain America, where I played him a couple times in our primer week. So this game went, well, I was losing by turn 2. Yeah, I ended up using the Black Panther on my team instead of pulling anything from my pack. Would have been the same thing anyway because my pack was not very fantastic. So in this game, we played on Latveria. I thought the blocking terrain would help me to some degree, knowing Cyclops could shoot through it. I was ready for that. What I didn't know was that he could outwit through it. It wasn't until upon further investigation of the rule with regards to his improved targeting that improved targeting works whenever you draw a line of fire. So when you draw a line of fire for outwit, it applies, which is in the case of Cyclops' improved targeting, ignore blocking terrain, period. So he gets that. The second part of it doesn't trigger until he makes an attack, which was the second part of his attack. So I hadn't realized that, and by then it was too late. Thor took a gigantic shot to the face, but didn't go without killing, managed to kill North Star before going for the big sleep. After that, I was in a very, very rocky case of how do I hit anything, which happened to be I couldn't. I think I hit maybe 2 attacks after that. Made some very hard basings of characters. It all didn't go so well for me. Could I have played it differently? Probably. I could learn to read certain parts of certain rules in more detail a little better. I guess the fact that I don't play a lot of characters with that improved targeting makes for a fact that I don't really study that rule. So, all in all, that didn't go so well. The next game, so I'd lost. He wiped my entire team eventually, and I only scored the 75 points for North Star. The next game was a 200-point Thor, Centurious, a Mafia Goon, the Scarlet Witch from the Fast Forces, and Sharon Carter. I was playing Sharon Carter, and then I heard a rumor that there wasn't much hindering terrain on the map. That was right. That was a thing. This was a game, going into this, I knew Thors were going to die. I say that plurally because I knew his Thor had to die, and I knew my Thor had to die to get it. So this game came down to the fact that his Thor couldn't miss because he had Centurious. But my goal was to bait out his Thor with my Thor, and then baste him with my entire close combat team. One mistake I did make, which could have sped up my killing of Thor, was a little bit of positioning in regards to where my Outwitter was. My Outwitter, of course, being Black Panther. If I would have put him in a better position, I would have been able to outwit Thor and kill him faster. Instead, I had to deal with his Impervious. He didn't make too many of his Impervious rolls. He made one on a critical hit for 7 damage. 5 damage, sorry, 5 damage, not 7. This came down to the fact that he had 3 characters with Perplex, is what came down here. I couldn't deal with it. And even though I managed to kill the Thor, Centurion, after Thor died, I had Black Panther, I had Iron Fist and Scarlet Witch left. And I was now on the chase because I had to collect points. I managed to score 220 points out of this game, and he managed to get my team. So going into the third match, I was already down to myself. I knew for a fact that my only chance of getting Lei Kung at this point was a dice roll for Fellowship. Yeah. So the last guy I had to place, first opponent was Aiden. Second opponent would have been Kyle. I get Kyle and another fellow there, Jamie, mixed up because they always come in together, and I believe they're brothers. They're not brothers; they're just really good friends. Okay, they just come in together all the time. Last match was Cecil, a fellow who usually plays in Cecil. Cecil. You know what? Stop correcting me. He corrected me enough times. Cecil. His team was a very mystical team. He had Brother Voodoo, the 30-point Loki, Fear Itself Loki, the 75-point Doctor Strange from Galactic Guardians. Got to remember, it's Galactic Guardians, not Guardians of the Galaxy, because there's 2 Guardians of the Galaxy sets coming out soon. The starter set's Scarlet Witch, Lockheed, and he used his Black Panther on his team. Brother Voodoo. Is that not enough? No, his team was very good at counterattacking, and my team wasn't very good at range attacking. Ultimately, my team kind of burst against his. I did manage to kill some stuff. I think I got the Doctor Strange and the Loki at the very least, getting me 105 points. I didn't go through a single game without killing something, which is generally a good thing for me. It keeps my head high, kind of. But, I don't know. Going in, I had planned on using the Black Panther prior. I didn't know he was so effective with smaller point figures who are bigger teams that are based on close combat. He's really good at making a lot of characters really good. So if I was to do that all over again, I would probably play Captain America for sure instead of Thor to get a big old bubble of close combat in people's faces. And then probably switch out Scarlet Witch for another beat stick, like maybe the 75-point Wolverine or anything. Basically, if I was to change a team, I'd go with more Empower and more charging in the face kind of strategy. But all in all, I can't take much from this. I didn't get the Lei Kung from the dice roll. I didn't do too well in the tournament. And I have to go in the next couple tournaments, probably either with a better mindset or not tweaking my team at the last second, because one of the teams I played against, or as I described, was the team with Centurious, Mafia Goon, Thor, and Sharon Carter and Scarlet Witch. I was originally going to bring Thor and Scarlet Witch and Sharon Carter, but because of that lack of hindering terrain rumor, I decided to switch my team to a more close combat based team, which is silly, which would have made more sense in a more hindering map. Considering the team I made practically ignored hindering terrain. So, yeah, I'll probably try my best to do better the next time. And probably think my team out a little bit more ahead of time and not change it at the last second. Till then, guys, been good. We got a game to play later this week, and we have more to do on the blog because we're getting a little bit lazy on that. So we'll try to do our best on updating things a little bit better on that. Got a lot of work to do right here.